Welcome everybody back to Inside the Coffeehouse. I am D-Rod,
I am Anna.
and today we're going to be talking about something that can be scary for some people. Like when I was writing down this episode, I kind of was scared because we're going to be talking about our 5-year plan. And in a broader sense, not just where are we going to be in 2029, but more like what does it look like to look forward? What does it look like to be in a healthy way, look forward to the future, and what can we do now to prepare for that, and but still live in the moment too. So it's kind of like a catch-22 where like we want to talk about the future and still be okay with where we're at. So 5-year plan, what you got for us?
Oh gosh. Okay. 5-year plan. First question is, what is our broad 5-year plan?
I think it's okay to not have this. Well, I wrote this on the page and I was like, let's like, we don't have to have it all figured out, obviously. So
Yeah.
the first thing I wanted to say, this is like my first note I wanted to, right before we started recording, I was like, it's okay if you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, but I think it is okay. And I think it is good to ask each other, hey, what goals do we want to set for ourselves
Yeah.
that will change our lives for the better in
Yeah.
5 years, in 10 years, in whatever time, And it's been almost 5 years that we've been together, which is crazy,
And I was going to say, one of our very first times talking, we like asked each other, what is our 5-year plan? And
Wow.
it's has changed since then.
It has, but at the same time, though, like me having goals from like 5 years ago and me pursuing music for, I think, 7-8 years at this point, that like the main goal has never changed, which
For
was
sure.
just to make my music career a thing,
Yeah.
And it has happened, which I'm so grateful for. I remember this like 4 years ago. I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
But so in a sense of 5 years, obviously we're in our like lower to mid 20s now, and like we want to, obviously start a family, hopefully in less than 5 years. We want to get a house. I mean, these are like basic things anybody can say, but and I think we already talked about like future aspirations for music as well. So that's kind of covered in there as well. What do you think? Do you have anything else, I guess, in the broad term of like our family? Do you see us doing anything else?
I feel like traveling a little bit more.
Yeah,
We've traveled
that's
a
good.
lot, but there's a bunch of other places I want to travel.
For sure.
And so I think that's something we could do.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I think everybody else, anyone who's watching this right now, like we're in our we're like in our lower to mid 20s now. You're probably going to be like 10 years younger than us or 5 years younger than us. And so it's going to be looking different for every single other person, So like it's good for us to take an evaluation of like, hey, when we're 30 or when we're 40, it's going to look a lot different, our 5-year plan, than what it looks like now. But I think it's cool that like we're young, we're pursuing, a really, really really awesome career. And a perk of that career is, being able to travel, to tour, to do live shows. So that is a big step. Do you have a second question ready to go?
So the second question is, what steps are we taking to go towards these goals that we have?
I think this goes back to 5 years ago and just knowing that like, hey, if I stay consistent in making better songs and making better quality music and cultivating my relationship with you, because I already knew that like I wanted to marry you.
Yeah.
All of this, like, it all just takes consistency, and look where it can turn out in 4.5 to 5 years from now, So looking back to like 2019 is remembering like where, I mean, I've always wanted to do music since like 2016, 2017 as well, but just looking back to 2019 where like, I don't know, I feel like it was a very clear forward year because I met you and a lot of things were changing, and then when COVID came in, I kind of was like locked in with music.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that since then. So I think just staying consistent is a big part of like what goals we can set right now, So for anyone that really wants to do a certain thing, like obviously not talking to everybody, but a lot of us, I feel like a lot of us would have, something that we do want to see ourselves doing in 5 years, not even career wise, but like, family wise, or you want to go to the school. Like, I think a lot of us will have that in our minds. Yeah. So it's like, just stay focused on that and like really evaluate like, all right, is this something that like I actually see myself doing? Am I willing to put in time and effort? Because I think it's, we're so close now, like with the internet, we can research, hey, what does it take to do something like this? What does it take to do a music career? What does it take to, I don't know, live in this city? So I think just to have practical things in front of you, and for the next 5 years, it's like, all right, I'm just going to stay consistent with my goals. I'm going to live life to the fullest, but at the same time, it's like, hey, I know that I'm always going towards something. So I never feel stagnant in life, and I never feel like, oh, this is it. I always feel like, hey, we have goals to hit, in our lives, and we're going to keep doing that, and that's what I would say for the next 5 years too.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to say, kind of bouncing off of that, it's just like whatever your goal is, learn as much as possible what that goal is. If you're trying to go to a certain school, learn as much as possible about that school or how you can get into that, or a career. Learn as much as possible as what that goal is. There's, like you were saying, there's so many resources out there that you can learn so much, and that will help you achieve that goal in the future.
Become a student of your goals.
Yeah.
And it sounds like weird, but like become a student of what you want to be accomplished in life. Because like, for example, college takes 4 years to go through.
Yeah.
High school takes 4 years to go through, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, if we have goals that we want to hit, it's not going to be an overnight thing. You know, it's going to be like, you know, taking, I don't know why I see it like as in the school format. It's like, we're going through this grade and we're going through this grade. And I feel like every year can be like a benchmark of like, all right, how much did I learn this year? How much did I grow personally this year? So I think that's really good. It's a really good bookmark of like, to like really measure yourself in a good like way.
And that's a good way to look at it too. Instead of like looking at like 5 years, that's so far away. It's like, okay, like take it 1 year at a time. And those 5 years, you know, you can actually see a little more improvement to those 5 years.
For sure. Baby steps is what we're looking for here.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. What's the last question?
All right. Last question is, for anyone who doesn't know where they'll be in 5 years, what steps can they take to get there? We kind of already talked about that.
We did, but I think it's okay to like really pinpoint down the fact that like, I don't know everything what we're going to do in 5 years, obviously, you know, and I think that it's okay to have a little bit of like ambiguity and a little bit of like, hey, we might be moving, we might do this, we might do that, whatever. And that's totally fine, you know?
Yeah.
But for anyone that doesn't really know, like, I don't know, I've always been fixated on doing music, so I don't think I can be like the best example in this, but
I could be.
Really, what would you say?
I mean, I feel like I went through like several different like career changes, I guess. And like in 8th grade, I wanted to be culinary, and then I went interior design, then like elementary education. So it's like I don't really have like a career set, if that makes sense. Like I've done so many different things over my life. And so I feel like, you know, do things that I was happy doing in the moment, and just kind of like you said, like learning about them. So, you know, I like the steps that I took to get to where I wanted to be with, you know, X, Y, and Z of my, you know, career choice or whatever it was. Didn't really have like a full set of what I wanted to do, but I always learned through each season, like where I wanted to be.
And I think with you specifically, because like, you kind of like jumped like from going to interior design in college to doing something else, and then wanting to be a teacher to like doing what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And I think it's still good because it's like, you're still skill stacking all these different things. Like, you know how to do so much different stuff. And I know that you and my dad were talking about this. Like, even though you don't have like a certain college degree in a thing, like you still have so much experience doing so many different things.
Yeah.
So that's still okay. Like, if you're still bouncing around from thing to thing to thing, like, just are you stacking up skills that can still make you a well-rounded person? I guess that's the only thing. Like, you know so much more stuff than I do with like cooking, or, you know, interior design, or just teaching, or just literally just, I mean, parenting. Like all of that, I feel like will make you a better parent. It sounds weird, you know,
no,
but it's like you're skill stacking at the end of the day. Even if you don't have a piece of paper to your name, or you don't have, I don't know, whatever to show for it. But yeah, that's all I would say for that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like the biggest thing I would recommend to people is...
Okay, so if you want to finish the rest of that podcast episode, along with dozens of other podcasts, song breakdowns, and exclusive videos and songs that I don't put out anywhere else, join D-Ross Coffeehouse for free. I promise I post 3 times a week in there, and I don't even show it to anyone else except for the people in there. So I love y'all, and I'll see you soon in the Coffeehouse.